Previously, on 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors.
Looks like it stopped.
Damn, you guys are out of breath. Well, not that I could claim to do any better if I ran 300 feet screaming. Pretty sure that'd about do it for my lung capacity, too. Tell you what, let's get you guys something to drink. Hey, Kool-Aid!
Oh yeah!
There. Now you guys have something nice and refreshing to help you catch your breath, and we can skip the next puzzle. Kool-Aid Man already found us a way out. Hello, denizens of the internet, and welcome back to 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. When last we left off, we puzzled our way through the second-class cabin, and in today's episode we will be doing the same with the ship's kitchen. Let's get started. They step through the door to find themselves in a wide hallway.
Oh, another hallway.
Junpei, June, Lotus, and Santa stopped for a moment and looked at their surroundings. A short distance away, a metal grate extended across the width of the hallway.
Come on, open!
You know, I joked in the first episode about the puzzles and setting making this a Resident Evil game, but the more barred passageways I see, the more I realize how well you could implement survival horror in this setting. It'd be a cool opportunity to better explore our 9-hour time limit with sections of the ship flooding and areas becoming inaccessible, forcing you to navigate increasingly dangerous paths. And the ocean setting itself could lend to lots of neat Lovecraftian horrors. Granted, you'd end up with a very different type of game, considering something this character and plot-driven thrives as an on-the-rails experience. But even if you only maintained a shred of this game's cerebral elements, I still think a more adventure-oriented take on this game could be an experiment that works. Drop a comment if you know a game that's like that, cause outside the channel I've been playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I'm looking to get my feet wet with more of the horror genre. It's something I haven't really explored a lot in the past.
It's not going to open because you rattled it, you know.
Damn it!
They took hold and shook, but it refused to move.
Look over here!
Nearby was a pair of elevators.
Elevators. And the buttons? Of course they don't work.
On the other hand, in scenarios like this, I'm not crazy that horror games send me off adventuring for parts to get an elevator or a door functioning. So, part of me is really grateful for that I'm playing a visual novel right now.
The power must be out here too, just like by the staircase.
That leaves this door. Well, looks like we don't have any choice.
Didn't you just hear my complaint about adventure games, Junpei? Free will is overrated. I don't mind not having a choice here.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Well then, let's open it.
See, the rest of them get it.
All right, here I go.
Junpei grabbed hold of the knob and quietly pushed the door open. He entered slowly, trying to take in as much of his surroundings as he could. The others followed shortly.
Oh, so it's a kitchen.
You know, I'm still not sure why this game fetishizes the process of opening every door we happen across. They could just play that sound effect we heard a second ago instead of actually describing us opening the door each time. Santa did not look pleased.
What were you expecting?
Santa's not pleased. Shit, I'd be ecstatic to see the kitchen. So far, all Zero's given us to eat is a bomb and some salt water to wash it down with. I'm gonna make some chimichangas. Oh, get out of here, Deadpool. They're nowhere near ready yet.
Isn't it obvious? The exit? I was hoping this would be the way out of here.
Bitch, I didn't see a 9 on that door, did you? Of course this isn't the exit.
You really think it'd be that easy?
Seriously.
Yeah, I know. Still.
As they talked, Lotus headed deeper into the room. Until at last, she stood in front of a door.
If we can just get through this door, we should come out on the other side of that grate we saw earlier.
Huh. Why wasn't that line voiced? Weird. But don't we need a key for that?
No good.
There's another one. I mean, Junpei said something that time, but he didn't actually read the dialogue. Weird. Sorry, I guess that wasn't very constructive. Neither Junpei nor Lotus looked terribly happy.
Anyway, let's take a look.
Junpei dug the ship map out from his pocket and spread it out in front of him. As he did...
Hey!
What's that?
Huh? Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to tell you.
Oh yeah, I guess we did. I can understand why you would be taken aback if I suddenly pull out a map of this place we've been dragged to against our will.
I found this a little while ago. It's a map of the B deck.
Before Junpei could finish, Lotus snatched the map away from him.
Let me see that.
She ran her fingers across it, muttering to herself.
See? Look.
Yes, yes, hold your horses.
Junpei did as he was told.
What did you figure out?
Santa and June moved over to look at the map as well.
This is handy.
See? We came in here. Now if we go out there, then we'll be on the other side of the grate.
With her finger, Lotus traced a path on the map.
How about that? She's right. We can get out through there.
Huh. Did they add that blue line for the remastered version? It's probably just that my memory's fuzzy from playing the original so long ago, but I remember always just kind of nodding and taking their word for it anytime they alluded to the map. The presence of an actual line demonstrating where we're going makes things a lot less confusing than I remember.
There we go. Here, you can have it back.
Satisfied that she had been correct, Lotus folded the map and handed it back to Junpei.
Thanks.
He took it and slid the valuable piece of paper back into his pocket.
There's a card reader on the right side of the door.
And that means the key card is somewhere in here, right?
That seems the most likely.
All right, we know what we need to do then. Let's get moving. First off, I say we split up and look for clues.
Okay.
Time to seek another way out. Huh. Damn, whoever drew this map went all out. They've included all the nicks in the countertops and the dirt on the floor. Actually, if this is an accurate representation of how unkempt this place is, I might have to take a rain check on those enchiladas I mentioned. Sorry, Deadpool. Those 9 plates look pretty expensive. They're plates for appetizers. Huh, square plates. I don't see much of that. And of course there's 9 of them. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 plates. Ah, that explains why I wouldn't know about the square plates. I never really go anywhere fancy enough to serve appetizers. Okay. Well, excuse me, princess. What the fuck? That meme's in here? Oh. I don't think I knew about that when I played the original version, so it must have gone right over my head at the time, because there's no way I wouldn't have noticed that. Shit. Maybe next they'll make my reference to Deadpool and the Chimichangas canon. One, two, three... There's 10 of them. If you flip these over, they look like hats. Oh, this one I do know. Those are soup plates. We have those at my house. The middle is super deep for a plate. They're soup plates. They're made that way so the soup doesn't spill. If we ever get out of here, you should treat yourself to a nice dinner out. Yeah, that's why I didn't immediately recognize the square plates as appetizers. I don't get out to a nice restaurant very often. What makes you think a poor college student has the money to do something like that? I think there are 15 of these plates. I'm assuming they're for seafood. How the hell can you tell that? They looked like just like any of the other plates from the 99-cent store. If you ever take a lady out to dinner, you're going to embarrass yourself. I feel sorry for June. What? Why in the hell are you bringing up June? The lady doth protest too much, methinks. You are not terribly subtle. Hey, if you watched that last episode and saw the sexual tension between Junpei and June, she ain't terribly subtle either, so we're a match made in heaven. Also, did you just assume my gender? Nah, I'm kidding, I don't really care. There's a bunch of little wavy ridges on this plate. Those plates are for serving meat. Ugh, you really are ignorant, aren't you? Come on, it's not like I need to know this crap. Jeez. There's a voucher at the end of the counter. This voucher doesn't match the number of plates on the table. It says appetizer 9, meat dish 10, soup A, seafood dish F on the voucher. And the plates on the table are 9 appetizer, 16 meat, 10 soup, 15 seafood. Maybe they're using hexadecimal here. Oh yeah, I tried to learn to use hex editing software once, but I was like 11. Excuse me, B years old. So it kind of flew right over my head. Hopefully here counting is all we're going to have to use it for. And hexadecimal is... It's a number system that goes 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F, 10, 11... You're familiar with base 10, right? That's the normal system of numbers. The base 10 equivalents for hexadecimal numbers would go like this. A equals 10, B equals 11, C equals 12, D equals 13, E equals 14, and F equals 15. And 10 equals 16. That part's just confusing. The 10 becomes 16 in base 10. I know it sounds strange, but you can just think of it as 6 letters added onto the normal number system after 9. Alright, I'm not repeating all that. I think I get it. I get it well enough for the purposes of solving this puzzle, but that's about it. A countertop. We've got a rolling pin and a colander. Nothing useful, in other words. It's a tank with a pipe coming out of it. Nothing really that special about it. Hey, Santa. Could you open that door, please? It looks like it's bolted shut. I don't think he's gonna be able to. Even the Kool-Aid guy ain't gonna be able to break through that shit. What the hell? There's no way I could open that thing. Guess you're getting to that age where your eyes start to go, huh? You'd better watch your mouth, boy, or someone won't live long enough to see that door opened. This has got the two of them on edge. We gotta get out of here, and fast. That's the exit. There's a big old iron plate over the door. I don't think we can open it. I concur. There's a light hanging from the ceiling. Okay. Wow. This pot looks like it was made out of silver. I bet drinking tea from this pot would be really yummy. Spending a day off with June, drinking tea. Could such a day ever happen for me? Junpei? Oh, nothing. We don't really need hot water, so we should be moving on. Actually, I had a cup of tea just before this. It's a lot of notes. They've got a bunch of stuff written on them, but it doesn't look like a code or anything like that. It's a bolt. And it's really rusty. Will this even open? Probably not without one of us contracting tetanus by the sounds of it. We won't know till we try. I guess it's gonna be Junpei that gets tetanus. Let's give it a shot. Alright, let's see if you're gonna come out. Damn. No dice. It's okay, Bolt. You come out when you're ready. A door. There's a bolt keeping us from opening it. Oh, a countertop. There's a rolling pin and a colander here. Why is there a rolling pin and a colander specifically on each of the counters we search? I mean, I guess a colander is used often enough that I can see having a few of them lying around, but I'm not even sure I own a rolling pin. Nothing useful. A trash can. There's nothing inside of it. Well, better than being full of rotten food, I suppose. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I actually shared a similar sentiment when we had to search the toilets in the previous room. What about this one? Damn it, there's nothing in here. Hey, Santa! Digging through the trash really suits you. What a bitch. Santa, you don't have to take that shit from her 99-cent store stripper-looking ass. I bet where she works, they throw the ladies food stamps and rolls of pennies when they dance. Listen, lady, I did you a favor. I knew you'd just piss and moan, so I did it for you. Oh my. I don't recall asking you to do anything. Ugh. I ought to throttle you. Squeeze me. Okay. Does it feel colder in here? Oh, I don't know. I was thinking things were just heating up. Matter of fact, I wonder if there's any popcorn in the pantry so I can really enjoy this. Maybe this table is for preparing food. There are plates everywhere. Just pick one of them up and yell heads up and throw it at Santa's head. Okay, what about the sink? A sink? It's still got water in it. There's a couple of plates in here, but I don't think they're gonna help us much. No, so far the only idea I've had for the plates is chucking them at your head, so... A whetstone. What are you planning to do with that? Sharpen crap? I don't really know another use for it. Ah, shit. Don't tell me you're gonna try and smash open the card reader. Are you an idiot? If you do that, then we'll never get out of here. Oh. Yeah, I guess that would be bad, huh? Do you think so? This whetstone's only gonna be useful if we need to sharpen something. It might be able to trim our calluses or something too, I'm not sure. A whetstone. I could probably use it to sharpen a knife. Now if only it could be applied to sharpen my wit. It's only a partition. There's nothing else worth noting here. Actually, didn't even mean to click on that, I was clicking on the pots. All we've got here is a pot and a frying pan. Oh, and a pressure cooker. Well, I guess we could use some of those as weapons. What kind of idiot are you? You're gonna run around holding that thing while you're looking for the dead? Don't diss my pressure cooker. Hey man, it was just a joke. Why so serious? There are some bottles of seasoning in here. Huh. Well, if the pots can be used as an impromptu weapon, maybe we can use the seasoning as a makeshift blinding powder. Not a bad idea, considering somebody'd probably have to be blind to let me hit them with a pressure cooker. This is the door we came in through. It's not locked, so we could go back out, but what's the point, right? All that's out there is an iron gate and a dead-end hallway. Yep. Might as well be locked for all the good going back out there do. An iron oven. Looks pretty heavy duty. It's probably industrial quality. I bet you could cook anything with this. Anyway, let's have a look inside. Judging by the keypad, that's not gonna happen. Damn, I knew it. It's locked. It's a card reader. Since the light's red, I figure it's probably still locked. The key card for it's gotta be around here somewhere. We just gotta find it. It's probably not just gonna be sitting there by the doors. Let's keep looking around. Alright, it's going. Do you think this was all part of Zero's plan? Probably. Kinda hard to believe there's a chef on board somewhere. I wonder what this drawer is. You see that metal grate on top of the grill? They make it like that so that the fat and juices can drip off the meat while it cooks. It looks like the area under the plate opens up. No, you can't. I already checked. It's sealed shut. I think that's where the coal goes. Sounds like Zero doesn't want us doing anything that'll disrupt the stove from functioning, which means it's probably important to some part of this puzzle. A frying pan and 2 kinds of pots. Oh wait, I already examined those. Ooh, that appears to be everything in this room, so let's look over here. Alright, let's see here. What's behind this curtain? Ah, a knife. Maybe I can use it to cut the tension in the air.
A rusty knife? I don't think we'll be able to use it while it's like this.
The knife seemed important, Junpei thought, but it wasn't going to be much use the way it was.
It's futile.
Futile?
I suppose it is.
You know, a waste, useless, pointless.
Oh. Any particular reason you wanted to bring that up?
Oh, no reason really. I was just thinking about futility.
She says with a smile plastered on her face. I don't know. Even the word itself is in bold font. It seems like you might have some ulterior motive for bringing it up.
Huh?
She wasn't making much sense. Junpei tried rephrasing his question.
Why were you thinking about futility?
I don't know. Maybe because a lunatic captured us and is holding us here to play a death game against our will. I think futility would be kind of a theme there. At last, she answered.
Well, it has something to do with the Titanic.
Okay, that was not my guess.
The Titanic?
Yep. Have you ever heard the story that the sinking of the Titanic was predicted?
I sure have.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. There was a novel that had a bunch of stuff in it that described the sinking of the Titanic before it actually sank.
Yeah, that's the one. The title of the novel is Futility. It was written 14 years before the Titanic sank. But
I know. I mean, I didn't know the name of the book, but the story was the same, right? It was just like what happened on the Titanic?
yeah,
Well, I heard it was all a hoax.
Looks like Junpei's fixing to Snopes your ass.
a hoax.
I heard that the stuff that matched up to the Titanic so well was actually added after it sank.
So I looked it up, and surprisingly, at least to me, there actually isn't a Snopes article on this. But honestly, besides getting the approximate date right, Futility mostly only predicts the superficial cosmetic details of the Titanic sinking.
Apparently, the only thing that was the same originally was that a boat ran into an iceberg and sank.
But the novel was published in 1898, 14 years before the accident.
Like I said, that was the first print of the book. 14 years later, the author heard about what happened to the Titanic.
Yep, that part's true too. The book was reprinted. I don't know how much the material details were changed, but I know for sure the title was altered to at least include a reference to the fictional ship the Titan, to make people more aware of the similarities.
He figured that was his chance, you know?
Yep.
He just went back and changed some stuff in his novel, so that it matched the Titanic exactly.
I'll try to remember to leave an article detailing all of this in the upper right when I post this on YouTube. Surprised by Junpei's response, June seemed rather taken aback.
Really?
Ah, she looks like I just told her Santa isn't real. Well, Santa's real, he's in the other room, but yeah, hell, you know what I meant.
Really? There's no such thing as premonitions or any of that stuff.
For a moment, June looked very unhappy, more so than Junpei thought was normal for such a discussion. But it lasted only a moment. With no apparent reason, she suddenly looked up at him, alarmed.
But, that wasn't the only book that predicted the Titanic sinking.
It wasn't?
Yup. There were 2 other similar stories written by a man named William Thomas Stead.
Those stories I don't know as much about, other than that they're considered to have fewer big coincidental similarities to the actual Titanic story, from what I've heard.
Both of them before the accident. One in 1886 and one in 1892. Stead wrote 2 stories that had striking similarities to the Titanic disaster. In one, 2 ships collided. Many of the passengers died because there weren't enough lifeboats. In the other, a ship collided with an iceberg and sank.
I don't know. I mean, I'll give you that it seems a little weird, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't too uncommon for ships to hit icebergs back in the day, or even other ships.
Right, I knew you'd say that. But what if Stead had some sort of special powers?
What, you mean like telekinesis? Maybe he just levitates the iceberg with his mind and slams it into the hull of the ship?
To be more specific, what if he had the ability to do automatic writing?
I mean, it's probably more likely that he just knew a lot about ships and maritime accidents. When he was asked about the similarities between Futility and the Titanic sinking, that's what the author claimed, that he just knew a lot about what he wrote.
What? Automatic writing? Wait, are you talking about when someone's possessed by a spirit and then they write a bunch of stuff without knowing what they're writing?
That's actually a phenomenon some people believe in too, but honestly, it was too silly for me to do any research into.
Yes.
What do you mean, yes? That stuff's a load of bull. Okay, let's say, hypothetically, that automatic writing isn't a total load. These guys still couldn't have predicted the sinking of the Titanic. When this Stead dude wrote his thing, nobody had died on the Titanic yet.
Oh yeah, I hadn't considered that. That's actually a really good point.
So if automatic writing is about being possessed by dead people, who the hell possessed him so he could write that stuff?
That's not it.
What's not it?
Stead wasn't possessed by a spirit.
You have an answer for everything, huh, June?
He was doing the possessing.
Oh. What are you smoking?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
William Thomas Stead was a passenger on the Titanic. He just wrote down what he saw with his own eyes 20 years before it happened.
All right, June, I'm gonna need you to return Alex Jones's crack, because at this point you're not just talking about ordinary ghosts. You're talking about time-traveling ghosts. He decided it was probably best to say nothing. Yeah, usually is better not to engage when it comes to discussing conspiracy theories and the like. Logical discussion just doesn't get you anywhere. What June was saying was insane and utterly absurd. If he had tried to take what she was saying seriously, he'd go mad.
Well,
Junpei smiled uncomfortably.
Well, why don't we talk about this some other time, okay?
Huh? But
Her voice trailed off, and she glanced at the floor, troubled.
Come on, let's get back to it.
Junpei tapped June gently on the shoulder, and awkwardly reached around her to pick up the knife from the box. Oh, wanted to look at that. We're really in trouble. I know I'm just repeating myself, but this really is a futility moment. That blade is so rusty. Yeah, I know. We can't cut a damn thing with a knife like this. If we're going to cut anything, we probably have to sharpen the knife. Yeah, not a bad plan. Let's do that. Maybe I'll use the whetstone to sharpen the knife. The blade of the knife is getting sharper by the second. I should be able to cut something pretty good with this. Cool, now we can cut through all June's bullshit. Wow, it's so shiny. Did you sharpen it, Junpei? Yep. Now we can use it to cut something soft. No, I said we were going to use it to cut through your bullshit, and that is not something soft. That is some hard bullshit. It looks like some kind of large tin container. Well, it's empty. There's so much stuff in here. A whole lot of cans. This is probably a pantry. Ooh, cheese. I enjoy me some cheese. Hey, there's something behind the cheese. You're right. Why don't we move some of the cheese? All right, guys, time to move it. June and I need to look behind you. There's a little green bottle back there. Ah, oil. Oh look, cooking oil. You could probably use this to make something slippery. A bottle of oil, originally intended for cooking. It might also be useful for lubrication. That's kind of an awkward thing to bring up while he's alone in a room with June. You know, I don't think olive oil is a very hygienic alternative there, Junpei. It looks like that was about all we could find in here. Ah, you know what that oil might be good for, though? Lubing up this bolt. This bolt is rusted in place. It won't budge. Of course. Maybe if I put some oil on it. Hey! Just a little bit of oil and come on. Come on, you little son of a bitch. Whoa. Ha! Yes! Got you, you little bastard. You did it, Junpei. You're so smart. As Junpei walked into the room, a blast of cold air washed over him. Almost instinctively, he folded his arms tight across his chest, doing what he could to conserve body heat.
Oh, it's cold in here. What is this place?
Are you blind?
Yeah, it's pretty obviously a freezer.
It's a freezer.
Santa's teeth had already begun to chatter. Huh. You'd think with a name like Santa, he'd be better dressed to deal with cold climates. Then again, as somebody who's had to deal with doing inventory in a freezer for various jobs I've worked, even if he were better dressed, it honestly doesn't do much to combat how cold it gets in there. Hardly surprising, the freezer was far too cold for someone dressed as he was. Lotus, however, was in an even worse situation.
Oh, no way. That's way too cold for me.
Yeah, you're even more ill-equipped to deal with it than Santa is. 5 minutes in here and we wouldn't need the key card, we could just cut the door open with your nipples.
I'll freeze solid in seconds. Sorry, but I'm afraid I'll have to pass on this one. I'm going to leave the rest to you.
And with that, she ran out of the room. As Lotus left, June came in.
Oh, whoa. It's really cold in here.
White puffs of steam hovered in front of their faces as they talked. Surely calling it steam isn't accurate since it's not produced by heat. June had already started to shiver.
Hey, you don't need to be in here. You had a fever just a little bit ago. You should stay outside. We got this.
No, I'm fine. My fever's gone now.
But
Junpei had scarcely opened his mouth
Huh?
when the thunderous sound of metal upon metal rang out from behind them. Boy, they really like that little bit of imagery there, huh? Metal on metal. We've heard that brought up a lot of times when doors open or shut. In unison, they spun around to find that the door they had only recently come through was closed. Damn it, Lotus, Deadpool, which one of you did this? Junpei rushed to the door.
no! Why did it suddenly close?
Desperately, he grabbed hold of the doorknob.
Ah!
It was cold. Beyond cold. Merely touching it was painful. Yeah, that's another thing I picked up working inside freezers. For whatever reason, touching anything metal really makes your hands sting like a bitch. Another fun fact, if you leave pallet jacks inside a freezer, it screws up the seals and causes them to deteriorate, making them not lift things anymore.
The knob's frozen!
But why?
They quickly deduced that the pipe next to the door had ruptured.
It looks like the pipe next to it broke, and...
Water released by the rupture had hit the door and frozen instantly. Santa shoved Junpei aside and pounded against the door.
Hey, Lotus! You're out there, right? Open the door!
She wasted no time in responding.
What do you want? What's going on?
The door won't open! Try opening it from that side, please!
Oh, fine. Like, if you say so. Hold on.
Soon, they could hear Lotus on the other side of the door. Then, the grunting ceased, and they could hear light panting, as if from exertion.
It's no use. It won't budge. You've got more people in there. You figure it out.
Damn, Lotus, you're colder than we are. But I guess there really isn't much she can do. Unfortunately, her nipples are not presently rigid enough to cut through the door and free us from this room. Though I suppose it's possible June will be able to do it in a few minutes, depending on what sort of artillery she's packing under that sweater.
Oh.
God damn it.
Santa was shaking like a newborn deer. June was hugging herself and shivering violently. Even Junpei, with the heaviest clothes of any of them, was clearly feeling the cold. With every breath they took, they could feel the cold working its way deeper and deeper into their bodies.
Anyway, let's find a way out. If we don't get moving, we're gonna be permanent residents.
That'd be a disconcerting discovery for any future Nonary Game participants, wouldn't it? Well, assuming there are any future participants, and, you know, that Zero actually cleans the bodies up when all's said and done.
Two heads are better than none.
There's 3 of us. Are you just writing Santa off?
I'm sure
Are you writing me
we'll
off?
figure something out.
Yeah, you're right. Let's just take a good look around this room, okay?
Right.
They pushed in close to one another and began to search. There's some frozen meat up there. Looks like pork. Huh? What's this? It looks like a tag or something. Chunk of pork. Junpei, is there a slip of paper in that meat? I think there's something written on here, but I can't read it like this. If we try and pull it out, it'll probably rip. Guess Junpei's pull-out game is weak. You need to defrost that. Don't think we're going to be doing that in this room. Everything's frozen in here. It doesn't look like there's anything else interesting. It's a rope. Well, we could use this to attach something to something else, I suppose. And we have a water bottle. Yes, it is. The neck is pretty small. I don't think I could fit anything very big in there. There isn't anything else in here that looks useful. Alright, if you say so. It looks like that just leaves this freezer or whatever over here. Probably not a freezer, just a cabinet. Wouldn't have a freezer inside a freezer. Dry ice. Can't you make that stuff cause an explosion if you seal it in something that's airtight? Explode? Yeah, didn't you do that in school? No, I never made a bomb in school. But an explosion, huh? Bet that'd clear the ice from the door, eh? Although, arguably, so would the knife. But hey, either way, thank you for spelling out the solution for me, Santa. You should never underestimate the power of expanding gas. Dry ice. We might be able to cause an explosion if we put it in something airtight and make it melt. Junpei picked up the dry ice with his sleeves so as to avoid burning himself. It's in a bag, isn't it? Wouldn't that do enough to protect you? Maybe it's just really thin.
Dry ice is just frozen carbon dioxide, right?
Yeah, it is.
I wonder how warm it has to get for it to turn back into gas again.
Hell if I know. How is that gonna help us anyway?
Oh, well, I figured we might be able to use it to get out of here.
They were about to move on when June spoke up.
Carbon dioxide sublimation point is negative 109 degrees. Any warmer than that, and it'll turn into gas. Any lower, and it becomes a solid.
Junpei looked at her, dumbfounded.
Oh, how do you know that?
Despite my looks, I'm the the queen of random knowledge.
Looks bad to mess up when you're showing off.
Argle mouth. Not sure that's the way to phonetically write out the noise she just made.
Oh, you're so cold your mouth's going numb?
Yeah, that's right.
You're just doing that on purpose, aren't you?
June giggled and did her best to hide her guilt. At least she was feeling good enough to joke around, Junpei told himself.
Come on, guys. Don't you think that's kind of weird? I wonder why it doesn't turn into a liquid first.
Has to be under pretty high pressure to do that. That much I remember from chemistry class. Santa was now shivering at an astounding rate, but his curiosity seemed unaffected. Junpei wanted out of the freezer now? Thought it seemed rather odd. Realistically, I probably should prioritize our survival and pick the top option, but maybe if I express my curiosity with this bottom option, June will light up another bowl of crack and regale us with more ghost stories.
It is kind of weird.
June answered.
But it can turn into a liquid. Carbon dioxide turns to liquid if you put it under high enough pressure. But at 1 atmosphere, normal air pressure...
It won't turn into a liquid, right?
That's right. Instead of melting, it'll do what's called sublimating and change immediately from a solid state to a gaseous one.
See, that is weird. Water's a liquid between 32 degrees and 212 degrees. So why isn't that the case for carbon dioxide?
June replied with an answer that stunned both of them.
There's a kind of ice that doesn't turn into liquid when it goes above 32 degrees.
Yep. Here we go. Damn it, June. Meth isn't literally ice. That's just a slang term.
Huh?
I heard about it. Its melting point is 96 degrees.
Ice with a melting point of 96 degrees?
You mean there's water that freezes at 96 degrees?
Yeah, well, you could also look at it as ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees.
Water that freezes at 96 degrees. Ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees? Junpei was cold as hell, but this was too interesting to ignore. He did his best to warm up by rubbing his arms and stamping his feet, then put the question to June.
So what's this ice with a melting point of 96 degrees called?
I heard it's called Ice 9.
Ice 9?
Originally, Ice 9 was a made-up substance invented by a science fiction author. But recently, scientists have discovered that such a substance actually exists.
Wait, hold up. So is this thing called Ice 9, or is it water?
Like I said, if the ice is over 96 degrees, it'll be liquid. If it's under that, it'll solidify. So you could think of it as a polymorph of H2O. Here, think of it like diamonds and graphite. They're both made of carbon, right?
Oh, okay, so it's just like a molecule made of the same compounds takes on a different physical structure and develops different characteristics as a result.
But depending on the structure of the crystallization, the hardness and structure are completely different.
So you're saying normal water and this Ice 9 are like that?
Yup.
She wasn't finished.
Have you heard the story about the crystallization of glycerin? For 150 years after the discovery of glycerin, people cooled it, warmed it. They did all sorts of things to it. But whatever they did, it never crystallized. However, one day in 1920, some glycerin on its way to England by ship was discovered to have crystallized during the trip.
This is actually another real-world urban legend, although it's not quite as sexy as the ones about the Titanic. And I think it was actually supposed to have happened during 1923, not 1920.
Scientists around the world wanted to research this new, crystallized form of glycerin and asked for seeds. Oh, a seed is a sample of the original crystallized substance.
Ah, okay. I thought they were just gonna grow glycerin trees.
With a seed crystal, further crystallization of glycerin would be easy. However, something very strange happened. Not only did the glycerin encouraged by seed crystals begin to crystallize, even the samples nearby did, even though they were tightly sealed. And it didn't end there. After that day, it doesn't matter where in the world it is, all glycerin crystallizes naturally when cooled to less than 64 degrees. Before that day, no matter how glycerin was cooled, it refused to crystallize. But once the crystallization had begun, it was almost like, how do I put it? It was almost like all the glycerin in the world was communicating. Communicating in some way that we can't sense.
Like through the morphogenetic field that Lotus mentioned. Actually, her examples did deal specifically with transmitting knowledge of shapes, like the image of the dog, and the geometry of a molecule would fall into that category.
And now it's happening everywhere.
Junpei... that's pretty impressive. Was honestly impressed. It was, in fact, a pretty interesting story.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. But, what does that have to do with Ice 9?
To his surprise, it was Santa, and not June, who answered.
What she's saying is that it's a lot like Ice 9. What happened, I mean.
A lot like? Oh, that would be bad. If water everywhere started freezing at 96 degrees? Man.
Oh, it's no big deal. It would just mean the extermination of all life on Earth.
It'd be the end of the world.
Yep. Junpei felt that Santa might not be treating the idea of the end of the world with the proper concern. I mean, it's a pretty far-fetched doomsday scenario, I wouldn't worry.
At any rate, we're not gonna have to worry about the end of the world unless we can get out of here pretty damn quick.
He was right. Junpei shivered.
Alright guys, I think that's enough of that. I didn't think we'd get quite this far off topic. I mean, I know I'm kinda at fault here, but we can't be screwing around anymore.
Yeah, you got the conversation going, but June's the one who really had it snowball into this big old distraction.
Seriously, I might go by the name Santa right now, but I didn't grow up in Iceland.
Hey, Santa's making jokes about his namesake too. I'm in good company.
I freaking hate the cold.
Yeah, I will agree. It never bothered me much growing up, but sometime when I hit my early 20s, it just really started to dig into my skin more. I don't know.
So let's get cracking, alright? We gotta find a way out of here.
Santa stomped off, clearly doing his best to pretend the cold wasn't affecting him.
Selfish, isn't he?
I'd hardly call prioritizing our survival all that selfish. Seems like his head's in the right place. Still, Santa was right. Exactly. And it was high time that they got back to their search.
Ice 9 is interesting and all, but we can discuss it more once we get out of this freezer.
Here. Junpei looked at June, nodded, and resumed his search of the room. I do believe we found everything we're going to in the room, though. Oh, nope. No, we have not. There should be one more object we need in the freezer still. The frozen chicken. It's really hard. It's frozen stiff. Hey, June, can you say that again? Yeah? Say it again. It's really hard? Yep. Well, if we're not getting distracted by the paranormal, we're probably busy getting distracted by sexual innuendos. Well, I guess we know a cold shower doesn't do anything for these two. Again, it's really hard. Thanks. Something wrong, Junpei? Your face is bright red. Nothing. I'm fine. If it's that hard, you can probably use it as a hammer. Yeah, good point. Maybe we can use it to break something. Junpei, it's really hard. It's like a hammer. She seemed out of the loop at first, but now June's just as guilty of jumping on this joke. Maybe we can use this to crush something. Junpei, your chunk of meat. It's rock solid. Damn, getting a little more on the nose there. Maybe we can use this to crush something. Alright, we have everything we need here to craft the bomb at this point, I believe. We'll start by... Oh, I searched it again. Nom nom. I thought we were out of new stuff. Don't eat it. Especially not if it's a metaphor for his penis. Or at least don't use your teeth. I keep hitting examine instead of combine. Alright. So first we pound the dry ice so that it's all crumbled up and can fit inside the bottle. And then we fasten the rope to the bottle so that we have a way of attaching it to the door. And our makeshift water bottle bomb is pretty much complete. Hey, why don't we use that rope to tie the bottle onto the doorknob? We just have to put some water in it, and then if we can give it a good whack with something, like Junpei's meat, kaboom! It'll explode and break the ice off the door. Then what are we waiting for? I can't take this cold any longer. Warm water dripped from the ruptured pipe near the door.
Put water into the bottle with dry ice, and make sure the lid's closed. Now I just have to put this makeshift bomb on the doorknob. Alright, that's set. So, what do we do now?
We just need to give it a little, tap. The bottle's already about to pop. If we just throw a rock or something at it, it'll go off all on its own.
A small rock. Huh. A small rock.
I mean, we could just whack it with that piece of chicken again, right? Junpei looked down at the floor. Scattered across it were pieces of dry ice left over from the larger chunk he'd crushed earlier.
Alright, this ought to do the trick.
He pulled his sleeve down over his hand to keep it from getting burned, and grabbed the chunk of dry ice.
Ah, some dry ice, huh? Not a bad idea.
I still think it'd be less hassle to just chuck the chicken, but I guess items in this game are single use only and magically disappear from my inventory after I figure out their purpose. It was a pretty good size, about as big as a pool ball.
Alright guys, stand back. Actually, we should probably hide somewhere.
Both Santa and June looked at him with new concern.
Where exactly do you expect us to hide, genius?
The massive hole in the floor?
There isn't really anywhere big enough.
Yeah, there is. Look, right here. We can hide in there.
Junpei pulled open the door to the small cellar.
Come on, get inside.
Seriously, how'd you guys already forget about this? I opened it like a couple minutes ago. Santa and June nodded and jumped down into the hole. Junpei quickly followed. In his hand, he could feel the chill of the frozen carbon dioxide, even through his sleeve. He tightened his grip, took aim, and prepared to throw.
Alright, here I go. 3, 4, 5.
Oh god.
You're counting the wrong way.
Your jokes really do suck, Junpei.
Oh That is a really sad excuse for a joke, man. Sorry, dude. All right, for real this time. You guys ready?
Yes, whenever you're ready.
Just throw the damn thing.
All right, here I go. 3, 2, 1.
0, -1, -2. Junpei threw the chunk of dry ice as hard as he could. With the same motion, he ducked down into the cellar with Santa and June, just as... Junpei leapt up out of the cellar and ran to the door.
Jumpy! The ice on the door! Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
The blast must have shattered it.
Yes! All right, let's see if it opens.
Junpei grabbed the knob and pushed with all his might. The door gave way easily, and all three of them tumbled out of the freezer at once.
Hooray! We're out!
June, relieved, collapsed onto the floor.
Move!
Santa shoved past Junpei and ran straight to the grill, which he immediately grabbed. Okay, he pushed Junpei. Just having them both on the screen at the same time made it seem like he shoved June out of the way.
Oh, god damn it! Hot, 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 hot! Fuck!
Wait, you actually grabbed, like, the physical grill? I thought it meant just the sides of it. Of course that burned you, you dumbass. He proceeded to kick the grill in a futile but amusing fit of rage.
Well, you did just grab the grill. What did you think would happen? Hey, where's Lotus?
It took Junpei only a moment to find her. She was sitting on the counter, idly scratching her chest.
Oh, welcome back. I was starting to get tired of waiting for you guys.
With a great yawn, Lotus lowered herself off the counter. Junpei clenched his teeth and walked toward her.
What were you doing?
What do you mean, what was I doing? I was waiting.
We were gonna die!
Oh, yeah? But you didn't. So everything worked out all right, didn't it?
What the hell?
So aloof.
Just kidding. It might not look like it, but I was really worried.
Oh, don't give me that crap.
I'm telling the truth. I mean, if you died, then I'd be in trouble too. If you died, then I'd be stuck here, and I'd die too.
Yeah?
See?
Without the items we found in the other room, it's not like you could have just solved the rest of the puzzle on your own. There really is no point in getting mad at her. It's not like there was much else she could do besides chill. Even if we were chilling in a much more literal fashion.
I did all I could. I even looked around to see if there was anything I could use to pry open the door.
Yeah, but the sturdiest thing in this room is a freaking rolling pin, so...
But I couldn't find anything. So, all I could do was wait. I mean, what else did you want me to do? Call the cops?
It was true that there wasn't much she could have done, but something about her tone... Junpei gritted his teeth.
Fine. But there's one thing I have to ask you.
What's that?
You didn't close the door, did you?
Oh, now how the hell would that make any sense? She just got through explaining that she can't get out of the situation without us. What, do you think she also ruptured the pipe in there with her nipples to make sure we got trapped?
What? You think I closed the door on you? Why would I do something like that? It closed on its own. I told you before, if you die, then I die too.
Yeah, I guess so.
It seemed that an accident was the only explanation for the door's closure.
If she'd really wanted to kill us, all she had to do was bar the door from the outside. But she didn't. Well, she didn't do anything. She's only lazy, or negligent at least, not an attempted murderer.
Junpei swallowed his anger and did his best to apologize.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I doubted you.
Oh, yes, well, that's all right. As long as you understand.
Well, she isn't particularly fazed by the accusation, at least. Lotus looked away and twirled her hair between her fingertips. His vengeance against the grill complete, Santa swaggered back toward Junpei and Lotus.
Hey, no more screwing around, you two. Break time's over. Especially for you, lady. You've just been sitting on that fat ass of yours while we were freezing to death.
How rude! I was plenty busy.
Yeah, and your ass is plenty fat.
Yeah. How about you put all that energy into something besides bitching? Let's go.
Damn, you two have more chemistry than me and June. Feeling like Ice 9 up in this bitch. Alright, let's see. So we have the pork, that's right. The next thing we need to do is place that on the grill. Get it all thawed out. Guess I'll put this meat on the grill. He just flops out his dick. Hey, what are you doing? What are you going to do if the paper burns? Come on, it'll be fine. I mean, it's not like it's gonna burn right away, right? We just gotta keep an eye on it, and the paper will be fine. Well, they can argue all they want. I'm gonna keep an eye on this pork. Cool. Looks like it's about time. I'm gonna try taking the paper out. Jumpy, be careful. Sweet of her to care, but I know what I'm... Ouch! See? I told you. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Hurry up and take the paper out. It's not coming out. This thing's frozen stiff. I can't get it out. So, are we going to have to cut the meat? Yeah, looks that way. Well, we have just the tool for the job. Alright, now that I've sharpened the knife... Yes, I cut the pork. Awesome, Junpei. Way to do an entirely mundane task. Now we can cut the paper out. Let's see here. C plus 10 plus F. So, using our little hexadecimal lesson from earlier, that's 12 plus 16 plus 15, which is 43. I just noticed that the name of this item is Pork Note. Sounds like the title of an over-sexualized Death Note fanfic. C plus 10 plus F. Do you think that's some kind of code? Damn it, they're just screwing around. Junpei, do you know what C and F stands for? You think maybe it means corporate finance? I thought it was clever and funny. Oh my god, Junpei, your jokes. People are dying and you're just over here making cringe. Alright, so 43, that's the password we need to open that little grate there. This is probably what you're supposed to use to enter the password. Maybe if we put in the right number, it'll open the oven door. Junpei, maybe that note you found earlier. Yeah, I'm way ahead of you on this one, Lotus. I'm just gonna skip through this, especially since you seem to be explaining to me how to use a keypad. 4, 3. Sounds like metal is falling. Well, I guess that went well. Yeah, the door opened. Good job, Jumpy. The Saturn keycard. This looks like a lowercase h, but the line through it is throwing me off. This is the symbol for Saturn. Remember? There was an elevator next to the main staircase. Wasn't there a mark like this on the card reader next to it? Oh yeah, I remember that. I guess that means this card ain't gonna be ain't gonna help us get out of this room then. I'm not sure. Why don't we try it out? Yeah, we do need to activate a card reader to get through here, and this is the only candidate for that we found. Yes! I think it's unlocked now. You did it, Junpei. Let's get out of here. Yes, let's go. And with our first numbered door now fully completed, I do believe we've finally reached another good stopping point. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It puts a smile on my face and a big fat grin on YouTube's. Oh, and I've been going through a little trial and error over the past week to speed up the process by which I create these episodes. And I should be back a little sooner than usual with the next installment. Which is not only a bonus for you, the viewer, but also for me, because I get to power through this gem of a game just a bit quicker. So I will see you then when we resume Junpei's wild ride with the Nonary Game, where whatever happens, happens.